Today I want to talk about external rotation and the path of least resistance. So we all have ways of moving and getting around that have been adaptations, perhaps because of an injury or patterning after our primary caretakers who moved a certain way, and it's just like what we've learned or what we've adapted to. And so if you come to yoga without a sense of developing something else or knowing what those patterns are and wanting to encourage and develop something different, you're just going to be deepening the same way of moving. In yoga, you can talk about that as being a samskara, right? A rut or a groove or a way that is deeply ingrained. But to have options and to have choice is really what makes you powerful, dynamic, and your full self. Now, how this translates into simple movements such as external rotation, which you can think about, okay, so this is external rotation, Baddha Konasana. The front leg in Pigeon is external rotation, or a simple figure 4 stretch. So I'm going to show you lying down on the ground. A lot of people like to do this as a variation in Pigeon because you're not weight bearing on that leg. And so if your knee hurts in Pigeon upright, really have to break it down and know what it is you're doing, because your knee shouldn't hurt at all. And what might happen is that you have limited range of motion in that external rotation and you're doing something else, which is asking the knee to take on too much work. So if I'm going to do external rotation, my pelvis isn't going to move. Because here I am, this is external rotation. This is external rotation. This is not external rotation. Did you see that difference? So if I'm lying down and I'm thinking I have to get my knee out, but I don't have any more range of motion in the hip socket, well, this is the path of least resistance. So I'm going to take that movement somewhere else. And I think I'm getting so much more external rotation, but really all I've done is kind of like dumped over to one side, and then that becomes harder when you are weight bearing, for example, and that might be one of the ingredients that's going to cause pain or an injury down the road. And so one way to notice what it is that you're doing is to really hold yourself accountable. You take your hands to your hip bones here. So this is the front of the pelvic bones. And so when I'm adding external rotation, which would be this movement, okay? Now I'm fixing the ankle here on the bottom of the other femur. I want to just move within the hip joint, not the pelvis. And so if I'm limited there, by seeing my knee go there is not more rotation. I'm just turning in the pelvis, which is creating a whole chain of reaction up the spine all the way through the shoulder girdle. So, what to do? And then you're going to add bringing the leg in, so more hip flexion here. You're closing the joint in the front to open it up in the back, which is where a lot of those external rotators lie, which is why you feel it in the side and the underside in Pigeon or in figure 4. So you're taking your hands back here. You are pressing. I'm trying to move my knee out or press my shin into my other leg without losing the middle. So you never want to come out of that center unconsciously, right? So again, that's not that this is bad, it's only bad when it's the only or you're never developing the other. Another way to do this, people think that they want to hug their leg closer in. Well, I'm not working on external rotation in the middle. What I'm doing here is actually, if that figure 4 feels really bad on your back, because I've lifted my whole butt out here, there's a lot of pressure going on my spine, and I'm not in my hip joint, I'm just reversing the lumbar curve. You might be feeling a stretch, but not as much as, again, keeping both hip points level to up and down and side to side, right to left, and really moving in the hip joint, not in the sacrum and the lumbar. So you're not opening up, not trying to open up those joints. In fact, you should have the natural curves of the spine and be able to slide your hand underneath, which is why just working this way with the foot on the floor and being able to add more external rotation. You can see my leg is moving further out, but my pelvis isn't. So I'm externally rotating. And then I want to flex in the hips more, but not change the spine. That will be a whole different realm of sensation than doing it the same old,